Okay, here we are at the United Nations. It's Saturday, April 6th. A Sudan protest has taken place here because the UN under Antonio Guterres not only has done nothing to help the people of Sudan, he has actively met with Bashir, he has met with war criminals such as Mr. Haftar of Libya, Paul Biya of Cameroon. Antonio Guterres is the most corrupt Secretary General that's ever existed. And I covered Ban Ki-moon. Ban Ki-moon was inept. Antonio Guterres is corrupt. He's corrupt. He throws out the press that asked him questions about why he sidles up so much with dictators and killers and torturers. But let's go take a look. Sudan, regime to ICC. So it says. And you'll see this is the tail end, I have to admit. But here we are. Inner City Press, which covered the UN for more than 10 years, beaten up and thrown out by Antonio Guterres, the most corrupt Secretary General ever. Now look how the Sudanese community came together, organizing itself under Dag, not Dag Hammarskjöld. Antonio Guterres is an absolute embarrassment to Dag Hammarskjöld, a travesty. Look how well organized, packing up their stuff. There was a stage, there were speeches. This is the tail end of what was a massive protest, matching one throughout Sudan. It's harkening back to the 80s, when the last dictator was overthrown. Now, what has Antonio Guterres of the UN done about Bashir? Well, he met secretly with Bashir. He took a photograph smiling with Bashir. Antonio Guterres is corrupt. He supports every dictator on earth, unless one of the P5s tells him not to. That's his only standard, is to try to get a second term so he can take public money to fly to his home in Lisbon and get more money from the Gulbenkian Foundation, which tried to sell its oil company to UN briber, China Energy Fund Committee. You say China is defending Bashir? Well, not only is China defending Guterres, Guterres is defending China. And that's the worst part about it. Antonio Guterres, totally corrupt. Totally corrupt. Yes, it's true. Yes, this is in New York. Check it out. This is the tail end of the Sudanese protest. Directed at the UN, but of course Antonio Guterres heard nothing. Antonio Guterres, he's sidling up to dictators. Is it Haftar in Libya? Who will he stop over? Or will he only stop in Lisbon to pick up cash, Ola, from Gulbenkian Foundation? Now, you might seem this is a harsh and trenchant analysis, but every single day for 200 and something days, I've sent written questions to Antonio Guterres' spokesman, Stephane Dujarric, to his deputy, Amina J, Mohammed, to his head of communications. His head of communications, Alison Smale, and they don't answer anything. They don't even answer which resident coordinators he's changing. How much money did he spend on his travel? Did he actually meet with Bashir? No answer. You see, he's corrupt. Corrupt. You can't contrast UN transparency to Sudanese corruption. What you can say is that Bashir is supported by the UN of Guterres because Guterres himself is corrupt. And that's a sad day for the UN. And so we leave you with this thought. And the thought is as follows. The thought is as follows. If you want to save the UN, if you want to save Sudan, if you want to save all of these principles, Guterres must go. Dump Guterres. Dump Bashir. To be continued.